All right. So first we're going to talk about dining and tipping. I know people from different countries and different cultures have different ways of tipping, and so want to talk a little bit really briefly about how it's done in the United States. So also about the culture of inviting someone out to eat with you or for lunch. Um, some people are confused. They're like, or they don't even know this. Um, so did you invite the person? Did you say, hey, let's get lunch? Then most likely you'll pay, but not always. And when I say not always, that means perhaps I said, hey, let's get lunch sometime. You said, yeah, what about Tuesday? And I go to lunch with you. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll pay. Usually when people invite you to lunch, if they intend in paying for you, they will say, my treat, or I've got this one. So if you have someone who's older than you or someone who is has a different position than you, maybe they're your professor, or maybe they're your parent, or maybe they're an aunt or an uncle, or just someone you are friends with, but they might be older than you, that doesn't bear any rank in who pays for lunch. If they say, I have this one, I'm paying for your lunch today, it's your birthday, or I want to congratulate you, so this one's on me, that will be made clear. If you're unsure about who's paying, when the check comes, I personally always look up at the individual and say, are we going Dutch, or we're splitting the check? Or how do you want to split this? And then people will decide or negotiate who pays for what, or someone will say, well, I ate most of the appetizer, so I'll take the appetizer, or I had most of the drinks, so if we go half, it won't be fair, so we'll let the waitress or waiter know that I got my drinks and things like that. So you can definitely negotiate that, but you usually wait until the check comes and just be very open about it and friendly, and it shouldn't be an issue. I know in other cultures, some people, if you're invited to dinner by a family member, that family member will pay for everything. Um, I know for sure in my family, so this depends on the family culture. If my stepfather says, let's go to dinner, he's going to try and pay for the entire dinner. And we have to even be sneaky. That means having a little trick up our sleeve and go to the waitress before the check comes and say we excuse ourselves, say we have to use the restroom, and we'll actually have to sneak in and pay, because otherwise my stepdad will try to pay for everything because that's his way. But this is not the same for all families. It really depends on the people you're dining with and what their family culture is. So it just depends. One usually tips between 15 and 20% of the total bill pre-tax. And this is because the people who wait on tables, they make less than $5 an hour. And the minimum wage in the United States is like $15 an hour. But because wait staff and people who do services are expected to get tips, they make less. That doesn't mean that people working at Starbucks or people working at Burger King or fast food or quick food restaurants, those individuals make minimum wage. It's the people at sit-down restaurants who are serving you, and many times those individuals also split their tips with the people at the front who do the seating of individuals, and maybe even the prep cooks in the back, or the bus boys who wipe down the tables. So tipping is pretty essential to income for people working in the restaurant industry. I usually tip 20% unless the service was horrible, and then I might tip 10. And what I mean by horrible service is the waiter or waitress is never around. They're rude, or they, I don't know, there's just different ways that they can provide poor service, but most of the time they're there to please and they're doing the best they can. So I reward them for that with a 20% tip, but that really is your call. So let's move on. Any questions about tipping? So I have a YouTube video that's pretty interesting. I'm going to stop my share and share the YouTube video in the chat, and then we'll watch it. I'm going to mute my screen because maybe people have slower internet and it might lag if they're trying to watch it through my screen. So bear with me 1 minute. All right, now I'm going to put that into the chat for you all. There you go. Now copy and paste that into a browser. This is a funny video. Okay, so it looks like it's finishing up for me. I don't know if it's finished up for you yet, but I'll take a couple more seconds and I'll share my screen so that there we go. All right, so that TV show I typed into the chat, that show is called Third Rock from the Sun, and it's really funny. These aliens from outer space have to learn how to live in the United States, and they make all kinds of mistakes, and they do it very comically. So if you want to learn about how not to live in the United States, watch what these aliens do and learn from their mistakes. So let's move on to the next topic, which is visiting a home. So you may be invited to a family's home or an individual's home for a party or for a dinner. And in that case, you would bring a gift. But if you're just invited, like, hey, let's watch a movie, let's hang out at my apartment, let's hang out at my house, you don't need to bring a gift. You only need to bring a gift if it might be they're having a formal sit-down dinner or if they're having a party. The gift is never really expected in the United States, but it's a nice gesture. And so if you're coming over for a formal dinner where you sit down at a table and meet the family, it's nice to bring something small and probably costing under $20 or under $15, maybe a house plant or a box of candy to share or a nicely scented candle. If you're coming over for a party where there'll be multiple individuals and people will be walking around and talking to one another, you can ask the host, what can I bring? If they say, oh, nothing, then they mean that. They mean you don't have to bring anything. I can share that link for you really quick to the video. There you go. So that was a link to the video. And then also you can, if they do say, well, bring whatever you like, or do you want to bring a drink? Do you want to bring a dessert? Do you want to bring a snack? So you could bring like a tray of brownies, or you could go to the grocery store and purchase a bag of potato chips or some type of snack you like to eat. Or you could bring a bottle of soda or soda pop or um, some type of canned beverage. So it just depends on what they ask you to bring or what you feel comfortable bringing. But if they say you don't need to bring anything to the party, then you really don't need to bring anything except yourself. When we do come to parties in the United States, you may already know this. Most people in the United States, when they say a party starts at a certain time, it starts at that time. I don't know, some other countries you can arrive late, but in the US, if someone says dinner starts at 7, we will start our dinner at 7. So they expect you to arrive at 7 or no more than 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late. There is a phrase called fashionably late, where people roll in an hour late to a party. Some people prefer this, but I'm more of a punctual type. I usually get there right when the party says it's going to start, but some people come in later. And that just depends. If there's a dinner being served where you're seated, the host will be probably a little upset if you show up an hour late because they will have already seated everyone and everyone will be eating by the time you get there or have already eaten. So keep that in mind. Next is shopping. We all love shopping. You may already know this, but we can cover all the basics of negotiation, when it's acceptable to negotiate the price of an item and when it's not. In different countries, there's different regulations, rules, or social norms. Here in the United States, it's acceptable to negotiate the price of an item or a service for a farmer's market where you're buying directly from the seller. Maybe they have produce, maybe they have fresh cheese, maybe they have fresh meat. You can talk to them about, well, if I buy 2 of them, can I get a lower price? Or if I get the whole bunch, can I get a lower price? What are you offering other than the price that is marked? Another is a garage sale or a rummage sale. If you don't know what that is, people will put their used belongings on their drive to where they park their car, or they may put them in the lawn of their home. And people find out about these by there might be a sign that says garage sale or yard sale, and they're bright signs on the side of the road, and you follow them, and they're usually on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings early. And people love going to these. They buy furniture, they buy art, they buy toys, like all kinds of used items, and that is acceptable to negotiate the price. So for example, if there's a teddy bear that you think is really cute and it has a price tag on it of $1, you would say, would you accept 50 cents for this bear? And they say yes or no. Or if you get a whole bunch of items together and you say, can I give you $5 for all of these items? That's the type of negotiation you can do. If you're in a store that is like a brick and mortar store, like a department store like Macy's or Dillard's, or maybe you're even in Fry's grocery store or Safeway, and an item you have has a damage to it, you can ask for a discount on that item. They might not give it to you, but you can always ask. So that's something in a very established business that is a corporation that you can ask for a discount. If you're purchasing a home uh, and you're using a realtor, or maybe you're purchasing from an individual, there will be negotiation on the price of a home. It's a big ticket item, costs, $100,000 plus dollars. If you find a home for $100,000, let me know, because that's a good deal. Car sales, if you're purchasing a car, many times there's negotiation. No, that price is too high. No, I don't. What if I add this? What if I take this away? Car repair. Every time you do a repair to your car, you will have to find out how much it will cost. You'll say, I'm not willing to pay that. What if we remove this repair? Or is there a way to do it more cheaply, etc.? Mattress sales, when you're buying a new mattress. Pawn shop. A pawn shop is where people sell goods to this store. Well, it's more like they get loans from this place as well, and they have items for sale, and they're used items, usually high-end items or items that are valuable, and you can pitch a price. Well, I'll give you this much for it. eBay, which is an online shopping retailer, you can make an offer. And offer up is a virtual used item, used service, used everything, offer up, and then Craigslist. So the last three on that list are virtual shopping, and you can definitely negotiate pricing in those. Okay, places that are unacceptable to negotiate, where the people working there will just jaw drop and look at you like you're a strange person if you try to negotiate. That's the grocery store. Anything like Fry's, Safeway, any of the big name brand corporate grocery stores, Sprouts, if you say, I'll give you $10 for these turnips, they're going to say no. The turnips are the priced is marked, that you can't negotiate that. Clothing stores that are not family owned, so clothing stores like if you go to a shopping center, the Gap or H&M, you can't go up to them and say, this t-shirt's too expensive. I'll give you $7 for this t-shirt. They're not going to let you do that. They're going to say, get out of here. No one's going to let you do that. Shoe stores, like the Foot Locker or Target or anywhere you buy clothing goods or anything corporate, they're not going to let you negotiate unless the item is damaged. Hardware stores, gas station, you can't go to the gas station inside and say, this gas is too expensive, I'll give you a lower price. They're not going to let you do that. Car dealership repairs. The car dealership is very fancy. So they're going to tell you how much it's going to cost to get your car repaired, and that's what they mean. That's what you're going to have to pay. If you go to a local car repair person, they may be more flexible. Medical offices, you cannot negotiate the cost of injections. That's all done through insurance. Medical costs are all fixed price. And then the pharmacy, also a place where prices are not negotiated, they're fixed. So there's some things there. Any questions about negotiating price when shopping? This is probably not new news for some, but maybe for others.
Yeah, can I have a question?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering what's the difference between the car repair and the car dealership repairs? Can you explain more?
Yeah, so car repair would be a local business. It would be owned by an individual and not by BMW Car Repair. So a car dealership is usually in urbans, like here in Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
there's BMW of Scottsdale, and they sell only BMWs, and they are the direct supplier of brand new BMWs from Germany or wherever they're made. So that place, that dealership would not, uh, they sell cars, but they also do repairs, and everything is straight from the BMW factory. While if you went to a car repair, local Jack's BMW repair, his name's Jack. I don't know where that name came from. I'm just
Okay.
making it up. But that Jack guy would be like, okay, I'll negotiate because maybe all of the parts he uses are
Mm-hmm.
not direct from the factory in Germany. He uses this part from here and that part from there, and he does it himself. So he doesn't answer to BMW. He answers only to himself.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, someone asked, what is a pawn shop? So a pawn shop is where people will sell jewelry, guitars, or musical instruments, or they sell like that I own. Like, say I want to sell this ring, I would go to this pawn shop. It has a sign. Most of them say pawn and loan, and I say, I need money right now. How much will you give me for this ring? And they would say, I don't know. I don't know how much this ring costs. So they would give me cash money, like bills, and then I would take that money. But they're probably going to give me a lot less than the ring is worth because I'm in need. It's pawn shop is for people who are desperate or very much in need of money right now. So they take goods and things that people have to sell so they can get cash money. Pawn shops do not have a good reputation, but sometimes you can find really good deals there, like good things that are priced affordably that you wouldn't find anywhere else. Some people say things from pawn shops were stolen and the people who sell them were thieves, but I don't know. My mom doesn't go to pawn shops, but she's kind of snooty. She thinks they're places where people sell stolen items, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I am okay with that. No, I'm not okay with that. But go at your own discretion. You can research the pawn shop and find out. I hope you are never in a situation in your life that you have to pawn anything. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Dating and sex in the United States. So this is a quote from a San Diego professor, and that people are not what they always seem in the United States. Some people are have more sexual partners, some people have less. But if you watch American television or movies, you think everybody's out there making partners with everybody all the time. Um, that is one segment of the population, but not all. So there's the way that relationships and sex take place in the United States is really based on the individual and their choice of when they're comfortable having a partner. It is true that many Americans will live with their romantic partner prior to marriage. And it is also true that many Americans are not getting married, that they choose to live with their romantic partner without being married for maybe their whole lives. So fewer and fewer Americans are choosing to have a marriage ceremony and be married within the state. So there's lots of language. This is oh, someone asked me if I could tell them about Walmart. Um, Andreev, Arad, I'm so sorry, I totally butchered your name. Aryadev, will you ask me what do you want to know about Walmart? You can type it in the chat and I'm not sure you said about Walmart. It is a retailer. It sells everything. They have everything you would want. Walmart has everything. and it's considered affordable. You can buy everything from a dishwasher to wash your dishes to uh, clothing. You can buy pet food. You can buy things to fix your hair. You can buy groceries like tomatoes and oranges and frozen food. They have lawn equipment. They have bicycles. They have everything. They are cheaper for most items, but not all items. Um, I would say there are cheaper places to get groceries, to get the produce and meat. And then sometimes they have uh, not a good selection. They only have select items of that type of item. Like you want many options, they only have one option. Okay, so in back to dating and sex in the U.S., if you do go on to a dating website, or maybe you want to date someone here in the U.S., here's some terms. Everyone sees these as different. Some people will say we're just dating, but dating could be more serious to one individual or less serious to another. Oh, I'm just seeing someone. That could be more serious or less serious. And then being exclusive, what does that mean to the individual? I'm committed. I'm in a committed relationship. So it really depends on what it means to you. So communication when you're dating someone in the US, you need to ask, well, what does just dating mean to you? What does it mean to me? Let me tell you what it means to me. Or when I'm seeing you, what does that mean? Does it mean we see other people as well? Or does it mean we just see one another? So communicating when you're in the dating relationship will help you understand these terms based on your interest. And then people throw the word love around quite a lot. They might say, oh, I love you. But some other people might never tell their partner, I love you until a date way far in the future. So you have to think about what you want to say and what's important to you in that relationship. Then there's the phrase hooking up or the phrase ghosting. Ghosting is when someone, you are seeing them regularly, or maybe you see them a few times and then they stop responding to your text messages. They stop wanting to see you. You can't get a hold of them. They've turned into a ghost and disappeared. That's ghosting. And then hooking up, for some, hooking up might mean just meeting someone for a sexual encounter, but hooking up also might mean just connecting and getting a cup of coffee. So that would be something you have to define for yourself and with your partner or with the person you're seeing. So someone asked, what is a cheaper option for groceries? I would say here in the Phoenix area, the most affordable would be Food City, and then Sprouts for produce, and then Fry's. And then I'd say the most expensive grocery would be Target and Safeway, but it depends on the store. Certain neighborhoods, the groceries will be more pricey than other neighborhoods. So in the Tempe area, I say it would go Walmart. I forgot Walmart. Walmart is the most affordable. Food City is about the same as Walmart. And then you go up to Fry's, and then Safeway, Trader Joe's, and then the most expensive probably would be Whole Foods or AJ's Fine Foods. So that's just my personal ranking. There's probably a website that does the numbers and figures that out. Yes, there are Indian stores in Phoenix and in Tempe. If you Google them, you'll be able to find them very quickly. Also, if you're looking for connection, the Indian Student Association has a Facebook page. Search Indian Student Association or ISA. They have a Facebook page and they're very responsive, and they'll be able to help you if you are from India and you want to find Indian resources or resources for people from India, and you just ask them questions, then they'll respond very quickly. All right. Other online dating options, depending on your preference of individuals, there's one for people who are Muslim, there's one for people of color, there's group date options, there's all kinds of different dating applications out there. So find your niche if that's what you're interested in, and there's a place for you. All right, so let's move on to greetings and addressing people. The United States is a less formal society than many other countries. However, formal greetings like Mr., Mrs., Miss, Ms. are all used in writing or an email to someone who is either your professor or a business owner or someone you do not know very well. You will always use those formal greetings in your email and in letter writing. So those are the different titles. Like if I'm going to write someone at a business, maybe I want to find out when they will be open. I will say, dear Mrs. Such and Such or Mr. If I know they're married. If I don't know the woman is married, I will put Ms. So Ms. is MS, and that's used for, if you don't know if they're male or female, you can put to whom it may concern. If you're meeting people, follow their cues. If they introduce themselves as Mr. So and like my name's Mr. Johnson or my name's Mrs. Jackson, you would respond, oh, and my name's Mrs. So if you get to know them better, you can say, is it all right if I call you by your first name? But usually on the first meeting, let them tell you how they want to be called and then follow that pattern. Any questions about that? We very rarely use madam here in the United States. It is just not common at all. Um, we'll use sir or ma'am um, in and maybe in a formal letter, but never verbally. Unless we're like, we see someone or you're in a restaurant or you're in a public place where maybe you're in a store and someone's like, excuse me, sir, excuse me, miss. They'll say miss instead of madam. So like maybe they need to get your attention, a clerk or maybe someone who is working somewhere might say, excuse me, sir, excuse me, miss. It's they also might say, hey lady, but that's kind of rude. I don't know, like, hey lady. I've had that shouted at me a couple times and I thought that was weird, but they might use that too. All right, birthday celebrations. I put this in here because it's something that not everybody thinks about, but in the United States, when it's someone's birthday and you see them and they express it's their birthday, you can say happy birthday to them. However, through social media, like among peers, unless your friends know it's your birthday, it's unlikely for them to put on your Facebook page happy birthday unless you posted it or something, or they'll comment and then everybody will start posting happy birthday. But if you haven't told your friends when your birthday is, you probably won't get a happy birthday because obviously they won't know. But people in general want to wish you a happy birthday on your birthday. If you're having a celebration, you can invite people to your own birthday celebration. Hey, I'm getting a couple people together. Do you want to come? We're meeting at a restaurant. They'll sing with a cake and candles. They sing the happy birthday song. So if there's any questions about that, you don't have to get a gift. Most people don't expect a gift. If it's your significant other, they will expect a gift. So don't neglect on that because you might get in trouble. But otherwise, your friends and things, they might buy you a coffee drink, but it's not expected to give gifts unless it's an official party for their birthday. All right, so this is my favorite part. Movies that are most quoted by Americans. If you do not have a pen and paper or do not have a note open on your phone, start to write the titles of these movies down because if you have not seen them, you're going to miss a lot of funny things in our TV shows when people make a reference. People might mimic characters from these movies. Gone with the Wind. I'm sure a lot of people have seen Star Wars, the original Star Wars. For example, someone might say, "Ooh, you have cookies," and your friend might say, "These are not the cookies you're looking for." That's from Star Wars. That's where they would be like, "These are not the droids you're looking for." So if you haven't seen Star Wars, you wouldn't get the reference. It wouldn't be funny, and then everything would be wrong with life. No, I'm just kidding. But watch these movies because they'll help you better understand the American psyche. I don't know. Jurassic Park, quoted all the time, tons of memes. The Indiana Jones movies, not only are they great, I think these movies are great. They have great music, they're fun. The second one is super racist and makes me angry. But the first and the last, the first and third, not the one with Shia LaBeouf, that's the fourth. That one's a piece of crap, don't even think about it. But like the first Indiana Jones movie and the third one, these are Kara's movie preferences, by the way. This is not a generally held view. Great. Okay, Forrest Gump. People might say life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. That's Forrest Gump. That's classic Forrest Gump. So, all right. Next, Austin Powers. He says groovy baby. People might say this. It's a little dated, but whatever. Princess Bride, oh my gosh, amazing. Have you guys seen Princess Bride? Has anyone seen Princess Bride? This movie is the best. Dudes, gals, guys, whatever you want to call yourself, love this movie. Super fun movie. The Back to the Future movies, there's 3 of them. Very fun. Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman is a classic movie. So these are quoted a lot. So hopefully you're writing these down so that you now have movies you want to watch. Yes, the Back to the Future series, so much fun. Marty McFly. So people will quote these and it will help you understand other future things. All right, more movies. Silence of the Lambs. You might have heard someone say, Clarice. Okay, that's the creepy serial killer from Silence of the Lambs. Or Jaws. The Jaws music is everywhere. Anytime there's bad things gonna happen. Donna, 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 Donna. Yeah, that's Jaws. Titanic. If you have lived in the United States or outside the United States in certain countries and you have not heard anything from Titanic, I'd be shocked because it was everywhere. But watch Titanic, it's epic. Gladiator, are you not entertained? There's so much quoting going on. Braveheart, good things. Mel Gibson's mullet is questionable, but that's okay. All right, TV shows referenced by Americans and referenced in other TV shows. Sesame Street. You might think, why the heck do we have a children's program on here? And I'm going to tell you that it's referenced so often because almost everyone who grew up in the United States watched this show when they were around the age of 5 or under. It has puppets. You need to know the names of the puppets: Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, Cookie Monster, Bert and Ernie, Elmo. These are cultural icons that all Americans will be able to identify. So I encourage you to watch a couple episodes of the old Sesame Street, like from the 1990s, and get caught up. It's silly, but it's fun. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, another program that most Americans have watched as a child. It has a very friendly man who sings about being your neighbor, and then he goes into a magical world where there's imagination and weird puppets. Very low graphics, but very kind man, Mr. Rogers. All right, I Love Lucy. This TV show is parodied all the time. Look it up on YouTube. You might be able to catch a few. Lucille Ball is this silly woman and her husband's Ricky, and she gets herself into all kinds of trouble, and she's very funny. Next, The Office. I'm sure some of you have seen The Office. It's quite funny, and it's very quotable, and people will reference this TV show a lot. Then we have Friends, Seinfeld, MASH, and Game of Thrones. This is a smattering of shows from all over, but people reference these shows a lot. and they were very, very, very popular. Someone asked if Phoenix is a big city, which is bigger, Tempe or Phoenix. Phoenix is larger. Tempe touches Phoenix, so Phoenix and the surrounding cities all touch each other, meaning that there is no land or uninhabited land in between. Um, you you like the Phoenix metropolitan with Tempe and Gilbert and all these suburbs, like Tempe's considered a suburb. Um, all these different smaller cities outside of the Phoenix metropolitan area, they make about 4 to 5 million people total. Phoenix itself, I think, is 1 point something million people, and then all the surrounding areas make about 4 or 5 million. So it's a big city, big metropolitan area. All right, that's the end. Are there any other questions about US culture and communication or anything that we've covered today? You sure you don't have any questions? Yes, this is being recorded and it will be posted on the ISSC YouTube channel as well as the Global Leadership Academy site if you are in the Global Leadership Academy. So 2 different places. Yes, there's an international airport in Phoenix called Sky Harbor International. I'm going to stop the recording and then continue to answer